Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on 790 The Bet. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency and Wally Hatchett's Comfort Food and Drinks at 6439 Summer Avenue.
Hey, good Saturday morning and welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. No, this is not Larry Ray, this is Ron Wong. Larry is still under the weather, if you haven't heard us talking about that in some of the earlier segments. And gosh, we hope he gets well soon. And of course, it takes two of us to do this, to cover for Larry. Our other co-host this morning is the one and only Frank Barton.
I'm just laughing. I said one and only. I was going to say one and thank goodness. So, good morning, everyone, and Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yeah.
And it's Christmas Eve. This is a special Christmas Eve version of Outdoors with Larry Ray. And, in Arkansas, we talked about it earlier, we don't get to duck hunt on Christmas Eve.
Is that not
Christmas
the craziest thing?
You can deer hunt, but we don't get to duck hunt. But in Tennessee, you can duck hunt on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And as cold as it is, there are places in Tennessee that are still, that the water's not frozen yet.
That's the most craziest thing I ever heard in my life.
And so with us now for this segment of Outdoors with Larry Ray, up at Reelfoot Lake is the one and the only Johnny Cornbread Warren, duck hunting up there. What's going on, Johnny?
It is cold, and that wind is blowing. I'm going to tell you, it was cold at daylight. Dogs didn't want to get out of the house this morning. And but it's cold. We're expecting a late rise this morning, I think. These ducks like to everywhere from south to north. They like to sit on the water and try to keep that water open, and then a lot of them will leave and they'll come out and eat, that kind of thing. But a lot of things froze up. We've got 6 ice eaters running out there right now, keeping everything open. So the guys are there waiting and having a good time right now. They just got through eating breakfast. So they're all geared up and ready to go, and everything else is ready. So we'll see what happens. We got open water and plenty of decoys and plenty of ducks here now. We've had about three pushes in about the last week. We've had some fresh ducks come in, a lot of red-legged ducks starting to come in. We still got a lot of the old ones here too, and they're getting kind of call shy, but they'll still work. You just got to stay on them. And if that duck's head's up, just leave him alone, let him go, and there's no sense in fooling with him. But if he's looking around, the guys that have been hunting know what I'm talking about. You can see that head moving left to right, and they're looking for a place to sit down and eat. But it's been a pretty good season so far, off and on. We had real good. The first 2 days was open, and we did real good. We limited both days. Then the following Monday, we opened again. It was a week and then a Monday. We limited. Best day I've had so far, we killed a 7-man limit the other day, and 42 ducks. And then that was by 10 o'clock, and then we came out with it. A lot of birds came in. We've not been seeing a lot of geese. We've not seen, normally this time of year, we've got probably 20 to 30,000 white geese here. There's probably not 200 up here, which that doesn't bother me. We've got a lot more dark geese, speckled belly, white fronted, whatever you want to call them. And then I've actually seen probably 1,000 Canadas in smaller bunches. We haven't seen that in 20 years or longer, that we've had that many Canadas coming in. Had one little bunch lighting my field the other day out there, and we've been putting out Canada decoys because we're not used to it. And so we're trying to do that and get everything set up. But if any of the folks want to come up and hunt, they can give me a call at 901-481-8237. We'll try to work them in. We've got most of our weekends are full because, as you know, we do 8 charity hunts a year, and that's anything from March of Dimes, Shrine Burn Center, St. Jude. We do a lot of charity work, and then we have a little club. But through the week, Monday through Friday, I take our charity folks, and then we try to fill in. But what else you fellas need to know about up here at Reelfoot right now?
Johnny, this weather came in on us on Thursday, and that's when we had the big change. What did you notice with your ducks up there at Reelfoot on Thursday when the weather was changing?
All right. Okay, as the weather changed, just as you started having mist, and that weather, it's called an inversion, I believe what they call it. It's when you got rain above fog, and we started getting foggy. Then it started raining. It cleared back and forth. If you hear ducks, you could work them, but not a lot of ducks moved. I think the good Lord gives these ducks enough sense to know when to move, when not to move, what the weather's going to do. So they came out, and what ducks we did see flying were awful high. We heard at first light maybe on Thursday probably 50, 60 shots within the first hour. Now, I'm right on the firing line up on the north end of Reelfoot. We've got 150 acres that's right there beside the National Refuge, TWRA Refuge. There's 3 of them all around us. And I did not hear a lot of shooting on the lake. Heard more fields shooting out in the field, and you will when it rains. Ducks won't eat dry beans, no matter what anybody says. It's got to be wet. That's when, if you're in bean fields, corn doesn't make any difference. Wheat and fields, they got to have the chlorophyll. The rice, we've got few rice fields we got, they'll hit it either way. But there wasn't a lot of shooting that first day. Then in the afternoon, the ducks came out, but they came out at 5:15 to 5:30 on Thursday, and
that's a little bit late for shooting.
Yeah, it's too late to shoot. So they came out and they ate, and I actually went back up there and just sat and listened about 9 o'clock that night, and you could hear them all in our spread and 2 or 3 other spreads up there. They were feeding at night, and then another friend of mine that was up at his place told me that they went back in. I went home, went to bed, but he said that they left his place about 11 o'clock that night, and they were flying. And then Friday started getting cold. That's when they're going to look for open water and food, but they will also sit on that water. They will sit and keep that water open. They don't want to all get up at one time. You'll have maybe a quarter of the ducks and geese get up, and they'll go out and feed. They'll go back, and that's an off-on process unless it ever quits and the sun comes out. Sun comes out, you better go to timber, and if you got open holes in that water, you'll kill the fire out of them. But if not, open water is good, but back in these holes and in this other timber, you're going to be frozen. That's the way it is.
Yeah, that's right. What about up there at Reelfoot, safety-wise, when it gets the weather like this? What do y'all do a little bit? I'm sure you do something different because it's so cold.
Yeah, well, we've got some young boys, and as young boys are, we've all been young boys, and some girls too. As a matter of fact, they make quite a bit of money. It's called channel running, and what they will do is they will stay up all night long, and they're paid by all the guides and all the people that have permanent blinds. A lot of them pay them, and then some of the guys do it themselves. They'll run those boats every hour. There may be 40, 50 boats out there just running those channels and keeping that ice broken open, and they'll go different locations, and you've got them running all the ditches and all that kind of stuff and everything. They pray for wind at night like everybody else because it blows that ice out of there. And but they will do that, and then normally about 4 o'clock in the morning they'll knock off, and all the people start going out to their blinds because you need to leave an hour earlier when that happens. You'll go out to your blinds on the water now, and then get in there, and then about every hour and a half, if you go out to pick up a crip, you always go around your spread and through the spread if you can and bust it up as best you can before you get back in the blind. Now, out in the field, a lot of our field hunters up here do have electricity, and they've got a lot of ice eaters out there. A lot of them have a new thing. It's called a water cannon. and that thing it will actually shoot water probably about 50 to 75 feet, and if you stand directly in front of it, it'll knock you down. And but it's a new thing. It's being checked out right now. As a matter of fact, I've got one for a guy doing a test on this deal before he files for a patent on it. And that thing, you can move it left, right, whatever, or you can set it on automatic, and it will sweep 180 degrees through your spread, but it'll blow water about 50 to 60 feet. And that thing will keep a lot of water open. But it's just it's a hit and miss thing. You know, that's why they call it hunting. But it's always better to be in that blind than it is in a desk listening to a telephone ring.
Yeah, it's like we tell folks, it says you're not gonna do any good if you don't go. You got to get out there and go.
One of the other things I've noticed this year, normally right now, is when we start seeing an influx of a lot of the migratory birds. But 3 weeks ago, we had a very, very large influx of eagles, and I've seen so many hawks and owls this year. It's unbelievable. And one of the guys up here told me, and I don't know if he did or not, I haven't seen it, but it's right close to me. He said he saw a solid white owl. Now, I don't know if it's a freak of nature or if it's a snow owl or whatever that is, or older people used to have things they'd say when they'd see an owl in the daytime, but we've also, it's unbelievable. The pelicans are here early. Every migratory bird was early except the ducks. And what ducks we had, we got them in here, and then it was just like they made themselves at home. And then when season opened, they'd been eating at all these places because there was no water. Anybody that had water, that had food, killed a fire out of ducks that opening 2, 3, 4 days. And then we got all the rain, and once we got the rain, it scattered ducks everywhere. A lot of people in the Boot Hill started picking up a lot of birds. I've talked to people in South Dakota, Kansas, and Oklahoma. They're killing the fire out of geese out there in North and South Dakota right now. But this push that they've got now, I'm hoping we get a lot more geese within the next day or two.
Well, we wish you all the luck in the world, Johnny, and Merry Christmas again to you. And we got your phone number. If someone wants to get a hunt in, they can call you at 901-481-8237. Johnny Warren up at Reelfoot Lake. Thanks again for being with us at Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Yeah, well, Merry Christmas to you guys, and tell Larry. I know he can't hardly talk. I tried to call him, and he was all choked up and everything. I think he was just choked up because he was talking to me, though. But anyway, tell him to get well soon, and if I can do anything for you guys, let me know. If you guys, I told Larry before, if he wants to give away a hunt, all he's got to do is call me and pick out what charity he wants to do this for, and I'll take care of everything else.
Thank you, Johnny.
Thanks a lot, Johnny. Thanks a lot.
All right,
okay.
You guys have a great day. I got to go kill a bird.
Johnny Warren at Reelfoot Lake. Let's talk about next week. Next week will be the next show will be the best of 2022 with Outdoors with Larry Ray, and hopefully Larry will be back. So that's going to be it. That's it. Christmas Eve.
I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
And as Larry would say, it doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. And what else?
God
bless the USA.